Let's talk about the New York City Tax Commission and the Article 7 petitions that keep getting filed for probably billions of dollars or hundreds of millions. I don't think anyone actually charts this stuff, and there's a whole cottage industry that just does this, it appears. And it's all this word here.
Certiorari.
You hear that?
Certiorari.
I wonder if you could hear that, because it's almost impossible to even pronounce this word. But there you go. And then you would ask, where does this word come from? A writ or order which a higher court reviews a decision of a lower court. So that's what they did back in Roman days, I guess. Where does that word come from? Let's ask where the origin is. Right? It's Latin, to be informed. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it. And then inform, the verb. And then law Latin. This one doesn't seem to have a translation. And then certain. That word I will try. Certus. Certus in Latin, I wonder, it's probably certus, because when they say this word, it seems to be certiorari. So let's go back and try to pronounce that.
Certiorari.
Certiorari, 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 certiorari.
Certiorari.
Certiorari. Wow.
Certiorari.
Certiorari. Certiorari, certiorari.
Certiorari.
Wow, an order of certiorari. But it almost leaves your mind right away, so you forget it. But let's see what's in public information, right? How would you even start to know? Well, you might search the Department of Finance, and you would be wrong. The Department of Finance has all this information, data, portal, but it seems that they're not unbiased enough, maybe, or it has to be a separate commission, so they created a whole nother commission for this, and of course a whole nother commissioner, right? But I do recommend these properly related data on the New York City finance data. I was asking for this for often because the open data site has it looks like a dumping ground of everything under the sun, and then they allow the users to create their own, and then they're all intermixed and you don't even know what is what. But so they took links and they put it here and they tried to organize it, but even this is getting out of hand because there's just too much. And then if you go into the details, that's where all the confusion even starts even more. But some people probably like that, right? Not me, but others. Then you search and you try to find this data. It's not in the New York State data, I don't believe, unless they just link to the New York City one. It all has to do with the New York City Tax Commission. Don't get confused with property tax. Don't get confused with Property Tax Advisory Commission. They all have very similar names. Tax Commission, Advisory Commission, Tax Advisory, whatever. So this has nothing to do with it because this is a state. And I think this is all done locally in New York City. So let's go back. And this would be the right place. Now, this looks really easy to understand, right? And then you'd also have to know that it's called Article 7 petition. I don't know how people are supposed to know that. But here we go. Now you do, because you're listening to this. But let's pick a random... You just have to know these blocks and lots, right? And down over here, you'll see what the building is. And of course they keep changing the names because that's their advantage, is keep things confusing, not organized. So let's just pick randomly this block and lot. 2 and 2. You see it? 2 and 2. Now where do you go? Because now there's online places that want to sell this information to you. But if you know what you're doing, you can just go to the court itself, which is this New York State Unified Court System. Just search for those words, and in fact, it's right there, in New York State CEF login or guest search, right? But then you also have to know to look at the page carefully. It's about as mobile friendly as mud. And ask for a new search. And yeah, you can see how mobile friendly it is. But here it is, tax, cert, and SCAR. SCAR, I think, is small claims. That's even, we can look at that too. But tax certiorari is the bigger ones, because the small claims ones, the big buildings can't do that. So you just put in these magic numbers, and then you search. You think we're going to find something? Oh, it's going to, because we're doing guest search, I guess, if you don't use guest search. Now, here's a mistake. This is going across the entire state, and obviously we don't want Mount Kisco. We're focused on so let's modify the search, and then you can go here, and you have to know the counties. So we know that Manhattan is New York County. Don't ask me why. And so now if we search, we should get what we want. There it is. All the tax certiorari filings for this building. And what it does show, it's not much, but it does show what their current assessed value is, I believe, because it's done in a very awkward way, and then what they want it to be. So let's look at the most recent that's filed, and you can see it right there. It says tax certiorari petition computer generated. Well, that's a big advance now. They actually generate them. So you just click here, and you don't have to pay any login or anything. But this is a one more. But even those sites, you have to do it one by one if you're going to pay. So let's try that one more time, because this thing is very, very buggy. And there it actually gives it a good name. So you can click here, and I guess I had to say click here and then say download again, and then it'll bring up this. That's it. We got it. Now, what I like to hear from anyone who knows this stuff is, see, this is not that old. It seems like they're about a year behind. And it looks like this stuff is just boilerplate. They seem to submit the exact same thing every year, probably changing some dates or something. Between this and this, the time the said books was open for buy, I've looked at these and they're all worded exactly the same. So they changed the lot number. It must be a good racket for these tax attorney, lawyers, whatever, accountants. It must be something else, because literally it's just submitting some form, and they're talking about millions and millions of dollars. Look, this one, I believe this is in dollars. So this one says just the land alone is worth $18 million, $19 million. The building, they've got the building at only $21 million, the assessed value, which means I have to see what class this is. And I may be misinterpreting this, but they're saying the claimed value is $8.8 million. If this is dollars, who knows? This is as clear as mud. So 10 South Street, we'd have to search there. That'll be another video. But anyone who knows about this stuff, please tell me. Schedule A. But definitely, if you look on the web and you look for this, you may go to these sites. It seems like sites in India are getting all this free data and then turning it around and making it a subscription service. So I would recommend against paying a company for information that your tax dollars are paying for and is public. And you can get every single one. It's just part of public information. And it doesn't give much detail other than these numbers at the end. And I guess someone's probably organized all this information and put it into a database. But of course, they'll change the format of this. But now it's electronic, so it should be in open data already, but I don't see it. All we see, if we look in open data, is this. If we go back, that's where we started. This is what we see, right? Wouldn't it be good to put the amounts in here too? Because then it'd be useful. Maybe, if those numbers are useful. But nothing is in here other than an attorney list and a petition index number. I guess I'm not sure exactly what this is trying to do other than to tell you what the block and lot is. All right, peace out. Everyone enjoy tax commission, New York City, we love you.